Hey, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Thursday Night Hockey Show. I'm Dave Valente, or otherwise known as Slim Shady. Hi, my name is. Joined this evening, as always, by Travis Wacky Daddy Aurednik. How you doing, sir?
Will you please stand up? Wow, he is the real Slim Shady.
Yes. Oh,
I would too, but I'm not wearing any pants.
so you could be a representative from North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm a news reporter today. That's the theme. Just airing it out, man. Anyway, we like hockey. We like hockey, and we don't wear pants sometimes. So this is the podcast that we have, and
Yeah.
featuring
And-
Slim Shady and I don't know, something that sounds like a riff raff lyric.
Yeah.
Wacky Daddy.
Wacky Daddy. Talk about the Deep End Antiques.
I own a store. We sell antiques. It's on a swimming pool, which is why it has the name, the Deep End. We got stuff. We got knives and glass things and rocks and 10,000-year-old pieces of Icelandic bison and cookie cutters and coffee mills and posters and records and pants. It's an antique store, so that stuff is all very old, especially the bison.
Yeah.
Come and see it.
I saw that picture of the bison stuff that you got. That's pretty cool, man.
It is pretty cool. I bought it and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna sell this, man. This is kind of, I don't know. I like bones and I like bison. I like bison burgers.
Oh, I love bison burgers. Actually, a bison pot roast. Oh man, that is so killer.
I was in Blacksburg the other day. I had to handle some business down in Roanoke and at a bison burger at Sharky's, a place we used to play music at, and it was very satisfying.
I love bison. That's one of my favorite meats. So
Yeah,
can't go wrong with a bison burger.
I'm a fan of kangaroo. Kangaroo is very good.
I've never had kangaroo.
We should farm kangaroo.
They do breed like cats. I mean, they're
Like rabbits, like other things that jump. There's a connection. Whether you want to accept it or not, there is a connection.
There is a connection.
All jumping things are connected. They all have legs.
Yeah, exactly. So Deep End Antiques in Beckley, West Virginia. Check it out.
Yeah,
You can drive down. Was it 68?
64. So we're about a mile and a half off the interstate. There's a gas station between us and the interstate, so
There you go.
you can knock 2 birds with one. So don't have a bathroom. I'll give you a free bottle of water. If you spend over $1,000, you get a free foot massage. So I mean, it's a pretty good stop if you need any of those things.
Yeah, honestly, I mean that's like the second best place. There's the guy in Chicago who does the chicken and foot rubs. You'll have to check it out. Go on YouTube, check it out. Chicken and foot massage.
Does he cook chicken or does he sell chicken or
cooks and sells chicken? It's a Chicago eatery. And
I just didn't know if maybe he had live chickens in foot rubs or if it was like. I mean, I don't know how many live chicken. I don't know what the demand for live chicken is in Chicago.
I don't know, man.
We need to pull some stats. We'll let you know next week, family.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that he washes his hands between foot massage and making chicken. But
I'm sure he probably does.
I hope so.
I'm gonna assume he does, and then if I'm wrong, it's my fault. So yeah, lots of things going on in hockey. Playoffs finally started, so that's cool.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So some housekeeping because with the end of the season, we always have that kind of bloody Monday following the season, but it's kind of trickling in. Immediately, who all we moved on from. King's going to get a chance to interview for the job in Chicago, but he's not guaranteed to get the Chicago gig. Mike Yeo is the Flyers are moving on from him. That wasn't a surprise. We haven't heard anything from Montreal regarding Marty St. Louis, whether they're going to extend him or go on an extensive search. And then today, the New Jersey Devils fired assistant coaches Mark Recchi and Elaine Nasruddin while retaining Lindy Ruff for another season. Lindy Ruff is like one of the most unfireable dudes. I mean, he spent what, like 17 seasons in Buffalo. He did get the heave ho from Dallas, but I would think if you're going to fire the assistants, you probably fire Lindy, but Lindy's going to stay.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do you expect to get? I'm surprised we haven't heard anything from Vegas yet.
I think Vegas and Seattle are going to be the big two. Seattle's going to be looking for a scapegoat.
I don't think so. I think they've got that first year expansion team. Outside of Vegas, the expansion teams suck, so it's not an unexpected thing. And if I was going to fire anybody in Seattle, it'd be the GM, Ron Francis, for that draft.
Yeah, I think that Ron Francis as a GM is kind of the equivalent of Gretzky as a coach.
Yeah.
Some things just don't work, and I think the faster people respect and understand that, the faster they won't have drafts like that. Because that was just embarrassing, man.
Oh, it was. It's all. I mean,
it was embarrassing for hockey, like just hockey fans in general. Like we were all watching like it was a car wreck.
Yeah, but
it kind of was.
I'm surprised that Pete DeBoer has not been fired in Vegas.
That's another one that I'm kind of waiting for. I think that Vegas is finally settling into the fact that they're not the solid Golden Knights, if you feel me. Like, yeah. No, I don't think that Vegas is going to realize anytime, like in the near future, that it's a coaching issue, because that's kind of what it seems to be. They have a lot of the same pieces as they had that they've made the playoffs with before, that they've done well on. So I don't really think that it's a player issue. I mean, you did miss Mark Stone for a large portion of the season. The Eichel trade was probably one of the best trades that Buffalo's made in the past 40 years. Honestly, and he's already proven that, like, he's the new Alexander Daigle.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's more talent there with Jack Eichel. The problem is he is not, and the problem with Buffalo, what they did with Eichel was they gave him the captaincy way too early. Well, like Jack Eichel is not the type of. I kind of think of what happened in Buffalo is that Sam Reinhart was the quiet leader. He's kind of like a Jonathan Taves type, and Jack Eichel is kind of more of a wild child in the locker room.
Yeah.
And he's more of the Patrick Kane type. You don't give Kane the C. You give it to the quiet leader guy, which was Sam Reinhart.
Give it to Tony DeAngelo first.
Yeah, I mean, it was Jack Eichel is not he's not leadership material at this point. Now, say like he gets to 30 years old and he's calmed down a little bit, you could make the argument at that point, but nowhere.
I mean, Jack Eichel was part of a perfect storm too, though. He got drafted by probably the last team that anybody wanted to get drafted by, especially at that time. So he's already going into a situation he doesn't want to be in, because nobody would want to be in that situation unless it was a guy like Took that's from that area and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going home and I make a lot of money.
Although don't discount the fact that when Buffalo lost that expansion draft, the GM at the time, Tim Murray, admitted that he cried because he lost the McDavid draft.
Yeah, so you're going into your career knowing that you're a second choice, but like a second choice, people would cry that they got you instead.
Yeah.
So you're already going to have some daddy issues from that with management. And then you get injured after playing how many seasons with a team with zero talent?
He's had some injury issues.
Yeah, so you get injured. You've never played with a team in the NHL that has anything that resembles talent. Sorry, Dave.
Not going to deny that at all.
You're in a city you hate, and you have all the pressure of that city on your shoulders. Like,
and you regularly play the team that you really want to play for, which is Boston.
Yeah, so it's like bad, 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 bad.
Yep.
And then you get traded to a team that has tremendous potential, and you've already forgot how to play actual hockey. Like,
He didn't play bad. The final few games of the season,
he didn't play good.
he was not great. I mean,
He was a 32nd overall draft pick the last few games of the season.
I mean, he did score the very last game, but in fact, I think he got 2 goals the very last game. But 14 goals over the final 30 some odd games. It's not horrible.
Yeah, but it's not.
But
It's not good.
It's not good. But again, a lot of those games, it was pretty much him and kind of a hodgepodge lineup because of Vegas's both injury and salary cap issues.
I don't know, man. I think that it's going to be a Daigle situation. It's going to be the hero that could have been, the guy that everybody's going to be chasing his rookie card because they remember the hype whenever he got drafted. Like that kind of situation. It's not going to be like a. I don't think that Jack Eichel will ever be a Hall of Famer. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Unless he, turns his career around and starts making playoffs. Yeah, there's
totally could happen.
He could, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's been guys come out of the woodwork before. Burakovsky is a great example.
Yeah, I mean,
Andre Burakovsky absolutely sucked, and then he got put on the right lineup in Colorado, and the guy's a solid second liner, like cornerstone of the team. So I mean, it could happen. I think that nobody will ever look back on that trade and say that Vegas got the better end of it.
Yeah, especially, and we'll actually we can talk about that now. Draft lottery set for 6:30 p.m. on Monday night. Vegas has the worst odds of the draft lottery. They have a 0.5 chance of moving up, 0.5% chance. I believe you guys are second with.
We got a scuffle in Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry, in Madison Square.
It's been a chippy playoffs. We'll get into that in a little bit
it
too.
Has,
yeah. So you guys, I think Montreal has an 18% chance of retaining the first overall pick. You guys have a 17 or 16% chance of moving up and taking that pick from them. My Sabres picking 9th will have a 5% chance of moving up. And we'll see. If Vegas gets lucky and hits on that 0.5%, then that pick flips back to Vegas because it's a top 10 protected pick, which would be completely something that would happen to Buffalo.
Yeah.
But as it stands, Buffalo has the 9th pick, the 16th pick, and then wherever Florida ends up, they could be anywhere from 28, 29, 31 or 32. So
So Shane Wright, welcome to the homeless dogs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the chance. Today we got the information about the Central Scout, their final rankings coming out before the draft in July, and Shane Wright is the number 1 North American skater. And on the Euro side, look, if you guys don't get Shane Wright, watching this guy in the Olympics, Juraj Slafkovsky.
Yeah, that's going to be a big name.
That guy was a stud. He tortured the Americans. He tortured pretty much any team that they played, and leading the Slovaks to a medal. So, yeah, definitely not a bad consolation prize if you finish second and pick Slafkovsky. So we've got right now the games tonight. We've got the Penguins and Rangers are on now, starting in a few minutes. The Caps and the Panthers, game 2. The Avalanche beating up on the Predators, game 2 as well, and then game 2 between the Flames and the Stars. No score in the Pens Rangers game as we speak.
Yeah, and it's interesting right now, the Pens and Rangers game. It looks like the Penguins are coming out trying to throw as much muscle as they can. The problem is they don't really have any. So they're trying to put some good checks and stuff down, but it looks like all the actual action's coming from New York.
Yeah. We'll get into that New York series in a few, but you want to announce the big news for Game 2 of the the Panthers and the Caps. Your favorite player of all
I
time?
hate Tom Wilson. Hate Tom Wilson. Passionately hate Tom Wilson. That is Mr. Dumpster Fire himself. He's probably a decent human being, but the world would be a better place if he never picked up a hockey stick. So,
But yeah, Mr. Tom Wilson is not playing tonight.
hopefully, because of the terrible plane crash that ensued on the way there, that only injured him somehow. And I'm not saying I want the guy to die. I'm just saying that if both his legs are broken,
well, he's injured.
It's okay.
He is injured.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's not broken injured. I'm looking
Yeah.
for like compound fractures.
Season ending.
Yeah.
Type deal.
Career ending.
Yeah, so
why stop at season, Dave? If we're gonna go straight into
Go
imaginary
for the gusto?
scenarios, why would I not?
Yeah, go for the guy.
This is my world, okay?
So Tuesday night, in game 1, Wilson was skating into the zone. He only played like a shift or two in the game. Caught a high stick, which drew a penalty. Actually, he was in the game long enough to get a goal, but that wasn't the injury. He caught the high stick, got cut, but apparently something happened lower body that's keeping him out of the game tonight. So I don't know if he twisted an ankle or whatever, but yeah, he's out for game 3 or game 2, and we'll see what happens when the series shifts back to Washington.
I just really hate that guy.
How do you really feel?
I really, I do not like that man. That man is not a positive person in my book. He's a negative.
So talking about how the series have been really chippy this year. Last night in Game 2 between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins, two Boston Bruins were fined $5,000 each, which is the maximum they can fine somebody for their actions. Brad Marchand slashed the goaltender of the Carolina Hurricanes, Pavel Kochetkov.
Who wanted to fight? He really, really wanted to fight.
Awesome. I would have paid good money to watch him just feed Marchand the waffle board, man.
Yeah, because Marchand is tiny and that man is large.
Yeah. And Derek Forbert threw a – was it a Svechnikov that he threw a Teravainen?
It was Svech.
So Svech speaking of Svech, he gave Hampus Lindholm, the defenseman that was the prize.
Clean. That was a clean hit.
It was one of the cleanest hits. Best.
That was textbook.
Yeah, one of the best, cleanest hits in the playoffs that I've seen in a long time, probably since Brian Campbell de-iced R.J. Umberger. But Hampus Lindholm was skating behind the net, turned the corner, and all of a sudden, right
lit up, man.
Yeah, it was Andrei Svechnikov, and it was an out-of-body experience at that point.
The nicest thing about this hit to me, I'm a Svech fan. I just am.
You can't.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked him, even though Carolina's not my primary team. I'd always consider them to be my second. I own one Carolina jersey, and it's got a 37 on the back, right? So, he's got the size. I mean, he's a big guy, 6'3", probably 210.
Oh, yeah.
Body's never been his thing. The closest thing to an actual hit that I've seen Svechnikov get was from Ovechkin. But this hopefully is him turning the corner.
Well, I mean, that can only be a benefit to him because if he's throwing body checks like that, that's going to open up the ice for him, and that's going to give him much more, at least maybe in the regular seasons. The playoffs, of course, are a different animal, but it's going to give him more ice to get open and put the puck in net. So, that was a beautiful hit. Oh my goodness. Other people behaving badly. Kyle Clifford was suspended for that Game 2 loss to Tampa after a really bad boarding call on Ross Colton from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Also in that game, that's not really much. Toronto's Wayne Simmons and Tampa's Pat Maroon and Corey Perry were each fined $2,500 apiece for kind of their actions in scrums throughout the game. Um, that's been a pretty chippy series. They all have been. What are your thoughts on? I mean, I don't think I've seen this many fights in the playoffs before, or at least in a long time.
I mean, I think that we kind of forget COVID playoffs. The first COVID playoffs. The first COVID playoffs actually had some pretty good fights.
Oh, you're talking about the play-in games?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bubble games.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was the way that they were playing the games. That kind of back-to-back every night thing. Guys were getting pretty frustrated. So I don't know that it's out of the ordinary. I'm just kind of hoping it's the new ordinary.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like a.
I mean, it definitely is higher than like 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
But, it seems like since COVID, fighting's kind of made a little bit of a comeback.
It has. And here's what I like is that it's not these at the face-off, you want to go, and then they kind of staged fight.
No, it's always after the play. Always after the
passionate.
play.
I mean, that
didn't they put some kind of rule in on face-off fights?
Only final 5 minutes of the game, I think.
Okay, because it's weird they kind of all disappeared at the same time.
Yeah,
because I remember one season you had face-off fights, and I mean this has been a while ago. This was, I don't know. I feel like Darcy Tucker was still playing.
Oh yeah, I mean you're talking about like George LaRocque and those guys.
Yeah.
You'd have those staged fights, and I think people started talking about it and kind of down talking staged fights. I
like them.
Understand that if stage fights continued, that would have been a much more. Oh, we got to what?
Go New York.
Man, I am behind you, I think.
Oh, finally, you're behind me for once.
Great. Yeah, I know.
I'm going to ruin everything for you, Dave.
What is up with that? Yeah, I'm not even anywhere near a goal. Oh.
And did Panarin? I think Panarin got it. I hope so.
Oh, man.
No, Panarin got the assist on it.
I just got a goal right there.
I'm trying to figure out who exactly got it. I don't know the numbers for the Rangers very well.
18 is the goal scorer. Oh, is that Kopp?
I think so.
All right. Well, there we go. Andrew. Andrew Kopp, the goal scorer there, 650 in the first period, 1-0 Rangers. But remember, the Rangers got out to a quick start in Game 1. In fact, let's go ahead and start talking about the series. So this series, the Rangers got out to a really quick start. They're up 2-0 by the end of the first period, or just into the second period of Game 1. And I don't know, did it seem like they kind of punched themselves out? They came out flying. It was like I literally thought that after the first period that Pittsburgh was just barely hanging on.
Yeah, it was a good game though.
Yeah, all of a sudden, as the second wore on, Pittsburgh started getting momentum.
Mm-hmm.
They got a couple goals, and Pittsburgh really carried the play from really the first few minutes of the second period on, even through the overtime.
It was one of those special games where every period you get a different game.
Yeah. But everyone was talking about the Capo Caco play in the third period that would have given the Rangers the lead. I actually thought that was a good call. He was skating pretty much right in front of the goaltender. He took out the goaltender. He wasn't really being pushed into the goaltender. His angle was going straight for the goaltender, and he ripped What happened?
That's it's not a goal, but man, what a shot! This is a Benajed rebound.
Okay.
I mean,
But
it's not a goal, but it's a good one to watch because that was a diving leap on a rebound off the boards.
okay, yeah, I just saw it. Nice save. Oh, Louis Domingue. So that's the other thing is that all of a sudden I didn't even see what happened, but Casey Smith skates over to the bench in the middle of the second overtime, and he's just like, it didn't look like he was in distress at that point. He just starts talking to the bench, and ref comes over and he says something to the ref and starts skating towards the door, and all of a sudden there's Louis Domingue. Now Louis Domingue is like your quintessential journeyman goaltender. Has never really had like major success. He was the original draft pick of the Coyotes, and I remember the only time I really remember Louis Domingue was Buffalo lit them up a couple of years ago. I mean, just like 9 goals or something like that, and it caused their coach John Hines to get fired. Um, but and that was like the last time he played for the Devils, and but he's sitting there talking about in the intermission of the first and second overtimes. He's sitting there eating Chinese food, some spicy pork and
Spicy
broccoli,
pork and broccoli, yeah.
and all of it, he's like, that was not a good choice. I'm sure it wasn't, man.
Mm.
Oh, we got a goal for the Pens.
Yeah, Jake Gensel.
Gensel is hot, man.
Gensel is hot.
Third of the season, right? Or third of the series. That's amazing. Yeah, with this game, with this series, man, it could be. I mean, because this is the Rangers did make the bubble tournament and got bounced out pretty quickly, but this is their chance to really kind of make a run in the playoffs. But this is kind of their first run for a lot of these kids. Could it be the experience of the Penguins kind of holding them in this series for a lot longer than looking at the statistics going into the series, this should be the Rangers series. They've got to.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're talking about a landslide as far as goal scoring capabilities and just general statistics go. But I think that one of the interesting things about the playoffs is that guys like Crosby and Malkin don't actually matter as much in this atmosphere. It's more how spread out is your goal scoring because, if the Penguins have 2 guys that have a bad night, they're basically down to 1 goal scorer. If the Rangers have 2 guys that have a bad night, they have 2 lines left of solid goal hits. So,
all right, let's talk about the second game tonight. That's the Caps and the Panthers.
I hate
how worried would you be if you're Florida off of that first loss?
I wouldn't because I think that Florida didn't take them seriously, which I probably wouldn't have either, honestly. And they have went back by now. They've regrouped. They've figured out the game plan, and now they're out for blood.
Yeah, but what Bob are you going to get? That's the problem. And let's say they lose tonight. Do you go to Spencer Knight for Game 3? Spencer Knight didn't have the best of seasons.
I don't think so.
So you stick with Bob?
I think you trust the system. Stick with Bob.
Ooh. I mean, that's the thing with Florida having they've been getting into the playoffs, but they haven't won. It's kind of the same thing with Toronto, although not as egregious, but haven't won a playoff series since they went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1996. When they beat the last time they won a playoff series was beating Mario Lemieux's Penguins in '96 in the conference finals. I mean, you think.
I think it's the year of the cat. I think that whatever they do, they're going to end up coming away with it. I have a lot of faith in Florida just in general right now. That team has so much potential. If they can't put it together this year, there's no doubt that next year they are your Stanley Cup champions.
Sure.
Unless something super dramatic happens this year, and
I mean, this could be the season that like Tampa had, where they lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets after winning the President's Trophy, getting swept by the Blue Jackets. I mean, that could be it.
Yeah, but that Blue Jackets team was weird.
That Blue Jacket, it was Bob too.
Yeah, it was Bob and Panarin and a guy that you never hear about anymore, Duchesne.
Yeah,
Did you notice he just fell off the face of the earth?
he did until this year. I mean, he's done well this year with the Preds. But
Yeah, I think that the Preds have done well this year, and he just happens to be there.
he's a 40-goal scorer this year. Of course,
Yeah,
but he scored 40 goals this year. But
he's not the guy. Like,
no, he doesn't have to be.
he's not the first name you're going to hear. He's, you know what I mean?
You got Philip Forsberg. You've got
Phil Tomasino. Phil Tomasino, man.
Yeah, what's his name on the defenseman?
Yossi.
Roman Yossi. But you don't have to focus. He can melt into he's on the first line, but he can stay a little more obscure than the rest of the lineup. Although we'll get into that series in a moment.
And obscure he is.
Yeah. But yeah, if tonight does not go the Panthers' way, those whispers are going to get a whole lot louder, and then they're going to go on the road to Washington D.C. With a hostile crowd. Now, that might actually be a thing that they need. Remember the year that the Caps won the Cup? They lost the first two at home to Columbus. They were in overtime of Game 3. If they get scored on in that overtime, that there is no OB Cup. There's no Washington celebration. It's another playoff failure.
I feel like if there's any team in the league that is overwhelmingly affected by playing at home, it would be New York or Nashville. And that's because the atmosphere in Bridgestone is rough. Like, I am more confident to walk into Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia alone wearing a Penguins jersey than I am to walk into Bridgestone wearing anything that resembles another team's jersey. Because they have, I've been to both. I mean, I've done this at both. Not a Pittsburgh jersey, but I was wearing a Kessel jersey. So close enough, the year that he got traded to Arizona, that one right there, actually. They were nice. Bridgestone, whenever I went to Bridgestone, it was drunk, rich Nashville rednecks that wanted to fight somebody, and they actually wanted to fight somebody. Like, there was too many friend groups with one guy trying to show off in that place for me to be comfortable. And it actually shows in the atmosphere. I mean, it's a hostile environment.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of hostile environments, I was watching that Carolina-Boston game last night.
Yeah.
One guy was talking shit right at the door as the Bruins were going off. And I don't even know which Bruin it was, but he flinched like he was going to throw a punch, and the dude was like, that was pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, you could tell it was like right after a big scrum, and they're fouling off the ice, and that dude's just talking shit, just yelling at him.
I think it was Chara a few years ago did pretty much the exact same thing.
Nice.
Except the guy got his foot stuck between the seats and ended up breaking his ankle whenever he fell down.
Ooh.
Like, he fell down and just broke a bone, and Chara didn't even have to touch him. It actually, now I remember it was a super tall guy, but it might have been back in the Lidstrom days.
Oh.
That's it. Anyway, broken ankle. It's healed by now, whichever guy it was.
Yeah. Still not fun to break your ankle in the bottom of an arena, and you got to get your ass back up the stairs to
and be embarrassed, man, because if I know about it, it's because it was on video.
Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about the late starts tonight are going to be the Avs. Speaking of Bridgestone Arena, this game is in Ball Arena in Denver. Man, is there any hope that the Preds have to split this and go back to Bridgestone with 1-1. I mean, it was 4-0 before the anthem was done. I was watching the overtime of the Pittsburgh Rangers game the other night. I was like, all right, well, I know that
They're
the
screwed.
I know that the
It's
Preds game's
bad.
on. I want to go, and all of a sudden the score flashes up in the top corner of the. I'm like, holy shit! It's 4-0.
Yeah,
And it's only
it's
10
bad.
minutes into the game. Yeah, it big save Dave Riddick did not live up to his name. He got pulled. They're actually on a third stringer who did relatively well. I mean, I think he allowed 2 goals the rest of the night, and it's. I just don't think that this is a very long series. Even if they get UC Soros back, um, they're in trouble. They're in serious trouble, and this is the thing. People have been saying this the last few days that had the Preds applied themselves in that final game of the season against Arizona and not blown a 4-goal lead in the
Which
third period,
how that happened?
they would have been playing Calgary. Not that I think that this goes any differently
Yeah, they
for.
would have fared any better, but at least they would have been embarrassed.
Yeah, I don't think Calgary would be dropping a 7th spot. I think it'll be like a 4-0 game or something along those lines. Uh, yeah, that was just ugly. That was a really really awful game. Other series tonight is again the least aesthetically pleasing game series. The Flames and the Stars. Uh, the orange and red versus the victory green.
Or should we say the NHL Christmas special?
Yeah, it could be.
Now with extra color.
Yeah, now with orange. Um, uh, Wait till they get to Dallas and they do the fluorescent green and black.
I was super upset that Carolina didn't wear the Hartfords.
I think if you get to a clinching situation, they should definitely roll out the Hartfords. They did wear their third hurricane.
Yeah, the double flag.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's cool, but like, I want the Hartfords.
Yeah. Wear those reverse
I'm looking for
retros. Those would have been sharp. Yeah.
Also, there's actually a petition among Arizona fans because we don't have any serious concerns right now. We can talk about jerseys.
Yeah.
There is a petition to make the purple reversed retro jersey or main jersey because the point of it is there's not a purple team anymore.
Yeah.
The Kings left the Marcel Dion jersey.
Yep.
Did anybody?
That's probably the only one, isn't it?
What is it?
I'm trying to think of the only other that there, if there were any other purple jerseys.
I don't think so. Not in the NHL. I mean, the WHA had 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the only other one, well, no, they were red. I was thinking the Cleveland Barons for the one season they were around, but they were red and black, which was actually a really sharp jersey for the time, like uncharacteristically pretty.
Yeah.
Actually, there is kind of one more. The Anaheim Ducks.
That's true.
The Ducks did rock purple for a minute.
Purple and teal. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, nobody even uses purple as an accent. So, like,
no, it's. I mean,
I'm kind of with it.
Yeah, it was a good look. As long as they make, like, I hate that dog head jersey. I hate the logo on the dog head jersey.
The one behind me.
Yeah, and I hate the was it like a child who did the artwork, like the full body of the dog? It looked like a child drew.
Oh, the one that was leaping sideways for some reason?
Yeah.
I want one of those so bad. Those are so expensive. If you can find a real Reebok or like that alternate jersey in a 2X, it's selling for like $500.
Yeah, just get it.
I want a real one. I want to invest in Arizona.
Yeah. All right. But that's why it's $500. I mean, they don't even make it anymore.
Well, yeah, they barely made it whenever they made it. I mean, that's as far
Yeah,
as like
it looks like a
NHL
child.
alternate jerseys go.
It
It's
looks
probably
like a
the
child.
least
Is it like the
produced.
child of the owner?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, man. It was a terrible concept.
Trolley dog. Yeah.
It looked like if you randomized a be a player team,
Oh God, yes.
and it was like it just gave you a random logo, and you couldn't change anything about it.
Yeah.
That's the jersey you would get 6 times out of 10.
Yeah.
The other 4 times probably would have been the Oilers meteor jersey.
That or either the Ducks bursting through the ice or
The Leaping Panther.
the King Arthur King's jersey.
See, I like the King Arthur jersey.
Or maybe the Gordon's Fisherman. Fish sticks!
The Fisherman was probably the coolest alternate jersey of all time. If I couldn't pick ours, because I actually genuinely think the 8-bit cactuses, like that's a cool jersey.
The Kachina look is quintessential Southwestern. That's awesome.
It's very Arizona. Like you can't mix up Arizona with any other team if they're wearing that.
Exactly. It's a unique look, and they need to rock that full time, and yes, include the purple as part of that rotation at least.
Well, or just go back to the black Kachina, white Kachina away, 100% full time, and then our alternate, not reverse retro, or just standard alternate is the purple, and then I'm happy. I think that's we don't need a place to play or anything. We shouldn't be concerned about that. We should be concerned about what jersey we wear.
I mean, you gotta have something to talk about. You
ever seen a grown man with a large red beard cry?
Oh, God.
Do you want to?
No. All right, let's talk about Dallas and Calgary. The question with this series is, can Dallas score? I mean, I watched that most of that game. After that game, the Penguins game ended, I flipped on that game, watched it with my eyes kind of shaded. It was hard to look at. But Dallas did not look like it was gonna. It couldn't score in a women's prison with a fistful of pardons.
I'm gonna give you guys, anybody watching, a free gambling tip. There's 2 bets you need to play right now. Dallas under 1, Dallas over 4.
Yeah,
it's gonna be one or the other. You can hedge that. I mean, both of them are probably gonna be like plus 170, if not plus 220. So, you're not gonna lose money here, guys. I'm telling you, like, it's gonna be one or the other.
It is, because there are times this season where Dallas just went off, and they were just a machine. And then, like the last,
I'm convinced that it all depends on how Mike Modano ties his shoes the morning of a game. The spirit of Mike Modano must tie his shoes, left shoe, first shoe.
Modano compels you.
Pull up his right sock, and then scratch his nose. And if that doesn't happen, Dallas doesn't score. But Mike Modano is a creature of habit sometimes, and that's why we have these periods where they do well. And then sometimes he doesn't get out of his loafers, and that's what you're seeing right now. Mike Modano wearing loafers.
There you go. Yeah, this could be the first series where all 4 games end up 1-0, and Calgary sweeps and is not set up for the next series because all they've done is score 4 goals.
Yeah.
If this was 5 or 6 years ago, I would say Calgary's got a fantastic chance of going deep in the playoffs just because of their defense. Things have changed in the NHL. You can score your way to a championship now.
It's because we talked about it before. It's the fact that the goalies can't keep up with the skill level of forwards.
No, so, the forwards have taken them by leaps and bounds. So,
Yeah, I mean, you don't actually need a defense anymore. You just need to score more goals than everyone else.
Yeah, well, let's talk about a series where you don't need defense. The Tampa versus Toronto series. This is tied up one game apiece now. Um,
Where neither of them had a defense.
yeah, first game, Tampa, took a siesta and in honor of Cinco de Mayo, and lost 5-1. Did not look at all in the game. It actually kind of had me worried there for a second, where maybe this isn't last year's Toronto or the last 20 years Toronto. Maybe they can get past this first round. And then, of course, last night Toronto crapped the bed, and it was Tampa's turn to run up the score 5-3. Was it the final 5-2, 5-3? Um, it, this series is going to be a battle, but I think Toronto has pissed off Tampa, and now it's shifting back to Tampa. Um, this could get really ugly very fast for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they'll be fighting for their lives when this series shifts back to Toronto.
Man, Tampa needs to understand that they are the gatekeepers of the hopes and dreams of 31 NHL teams and their fans. And they need to respect that, okay? They can't go out there and lose, all right? We cannot, as a people, the us that is versus the them, allow the Maple Leafs out of the first round.
Yes,
I won't stand for it.
I would take any other Canadian team winning the Stanley Cup outside of Toronto.
I'd rather see the Capitals win the cup again. I would rather see Tom Wilson in a wheelchair with his two broken legs hoist the cup over his head.
Flipping you off like
Yeah, with a sign that says, "Hey, we hate you too, man." And I'll know it's for me. It's okay. It's an ongoing struggle. But yeah, man, Tampa needs to have some respect for everyone else in this league and win.
Don't toy with our emotions, Tampa.
No.
Yeah.
How do they expect us to sleep at night knowing that Toronto's won a game? I mean, it's just it's appalling. Okay.
I mean, it could be on script, and it goes to 7 games, and Tampa and Toronto is crushed in the most horrid ways imaginable. I could be okay with that.
Do you know why I don't watch disaster cliffhanger movies? Because I don't enjoy that level of anticipation.
Well, we almost had it last year last year was so laid out for
that doesn't make it better.
That
just means it happened.
Yeah, it was so laid out for Toronto to make it to at least the conference finals, and they just, God, that was beautiful. That was amazing.
Looking back on it, it's fun, but whenever it was going on, I was like wishing I wasn't a hockey fan.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, I'll read about it in the newspaper.
Well, I was kind of penciling him in to get to the conference finals and lose there, but just watching that series unfold where they just get up to a 3-1 lead and then just blow it. That's beautiful. That was a beautiful thing. Another beautiful thing is Carolina being up 2-0 on Boston.
I don't think that anyone in any form is surprised. After watching Carolina play, I had a little bit of question about Carolina's abilities in the playoff, not as a team, but just, they're not really well known to perform on a super high level in the playoffs, no matter how much potential they have on the team, which is kind of odd, but there's several teams like that, so it's whatever it is. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced that they're going to go all the way, but if you told me that the conference final was Carolina and X, I would probably buy it. I'm actually really liking Carolina in New York, which sounds crazy between, your back-to-backers and the Florida winners. What do you say here? The Panthers. I don't know, man.
Trying to figure out who plays who next round. Let's see, Florida beats Caps and Toronto beats Tampa beats Toronto, then it's the Florida series.
Yeah.
So,
and the
and
Florida
then you
series
get,
is going to play out like the movie Slapshot.
yeah, and then you would get you would get your Carolina versus Rangers second round if those two series conclude the way that we're thinking. Well, I tell you what, the legend of Kochetkov has came from the KHL, had to actually spend a week in Austria to be able to come to the United States because of the travel ban from the war in Ukraine. Has come over, spent some time in the AHL. Now he's with the NHL due to injuries, and went 3-0 down the stretch. Did really well, and all of a sudden finds himself as the starting goaltender for Game 3 in Boston, which will be an interesting run for him. He he's a big, lanky goaltender. He is, I think probably the future goaltender for the Canes.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I tell you who, if you want to get into Russians, the most impressive Russian on earth, the man himself, the maybe he's not that good, Travis, Kirill Kaprizov. I told you, I called it. This is the new McDavid, but this is a McDavid on a winning team. This is what peak performance looks like.
Yeah, hat trick for Kaprizov in Game 2. Now, I mean, they struggled all kinds of ways in Game 1.
Kaprizov did not need help. He could have played that game 6-on-1.
Yeah,
He could have goaltended, played defense, been the only forward, passed to himself. I mean, I'm loving it because I have 3 of this kid's young guns that I bought for $5 a piece. I'm gonna cash in and buy a van.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, he looked fantastic last night. That series now is tied 1-1, going back to St. Louis. So both teams have flexed. I'm pretty sure I know your answer, but will either team have the advantage once games 3 and 4 are done? They go back to Minnesota.
No, I don't think
It'll
that.
be 2-2.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think that that's really an advantage. Um, I don't know, man. It's a fun series.
Yeah,
It's kind of a nail biter for me because I really would love to see Minnesota take it all the way just because of Kaprizov. Like I genuinely like the kid.
yeah. I mean, the West is so strange because they've got some really top. Oh, got a goal, or is that the other goal? Yeah, they're in the intermission.
Yeah, I got intermission.
All right. Yeah, that was the highlights, I guess. Uh, no, I mean, I think this series is very entertaining, and the West has it's so top heavy with really good teams, and a couple of teams that made the playoffs are just probably shouldn't be there.
Filler. Yeah, they're filler.
Yeah. Unlike the East, I think the East, almost every team can really compete to at least get past the round. Um,
Except for
but this is I mean, I would much rather see St. Louis and Minnesota playing in a much later round in the playoffs. I think this is
I
the
want to
fall
see
of the playoffs.
Minnesota and St. Louis go to 7 because I just want to watch Minnesota play more.
Yeah. And then that sets up just a tremendous second round with Colorado versus either St. Louis or Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And just, but these are really elite level teams and they're playing the first couple rounds. To me, that kind of sucks because I don't think anything really on the Pacific Division really competes at all. But Los Angeles and Edmonton are now tied. They're at 1 game apiece. I thought, Los Angeles was very plucky in that first game, but I think Edmonton has much better chances moving on. That game 2 where they had their way with Los Angeles. And I think Los Angeles is a team that's going to need, just kind of standing rather quick and fluky goals.
Like I said, I mean, Los Angeles, you give them 3 or 4 years, they're going to be somebody.
Oh, yeah.
It's just right now they're a first round bye, and that's okay. I mean, as long as you have continuously improving potential, I don't think anybody minds.
Well, in Los Angeles really was a year ahead of their I think even their idea of where they should be.
Yeah.
I think they thought that they could compete for the playoffs. I don't know that they thought that they could be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Los Angeles is just enjoying taking up extra airtime on TBS right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, they had a good game 1. And here's the thing. You're playing against Mike Smith. Mike Smith, as we saw in game 1, does dumb things. And I don't think they in any way trust their backup. So it's Mike Smith's show. Going forward, will Edmonton be able to outscore Mike Smith? And that's going to be the key. It may not bite them in this series, but wherever they go next series,
that's going to be the death nail.
Yeah. They've got tremendous assets. I mean, Draisaitl's a beast, McDavid's a beast, of course. Evander Kane is, reborn.
I'm loving this villain to hero thing that's going on in the NHL right now.
What's that?
I'm loving this villain to hero thing that's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's like they're just taking the worst people they can find and queer out for a straight guy and them into some new clothes, and then just oh, hey, good person, what's up?
There you go. I mean, Tony DeAngelo has kind of rehabbed his career.
Tony DeAngelo is the ultimate success story for the quintessential, douchey frat boy.
Yeah. Although I think the person that set that standard was Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane was that douchey frat boy, and he came to Buffalo his first off season and beat up a cabbie over 20 cents.
Yeah, I mean,
there were stories.
DeAngelo made
a sorority house at one point. So, I mean, it was
DeAngelo put hockey on the map in a bad way.
Yeah.
One cabbie in Buffalo. I mean, they got more of those. We only have one NHL. And it was the talk of the world. It was trending on Twitter because one guy said something really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as far as exposure goes, I mean, I'd give it to DeAngelo. As far as, actual crime.
I remember it was like a Sports Illustrated story about Patrick Kane, about him. And I think this is more after all this stuff really happened, but how he had gone through a sorority house at one point early in his career. I mean, there are stories out there about Patrick Kane, and yeah, he has calmed down. And
Patrick Kane was just living his best life. You leave that man alone, let him beat up cabbies, and stride through sorority houses.
There you go.
If you could, would you?
Yeah.
Exactly. Let that man live out his high school fantasy.
You do you, man. You do you.
No, DeAngelo just kind of sucked as a person.
Yeah. But
but now he's like a hero in Carolina. He's if you're on any of the Carolina fan pages, it's like, oh my God, I got to meet Tony DeAngelo today. He's the nicest person ever. He gave my kid a Ferrari, that kind of stuff.
It's that's the way it is with a lot of these guys that have the larger than life personas that
the bad guy reputation
in hockey. People hated Darcy Tucker, people hated Ty Domi.
Darcy Tucker did more in 2005 as far as donating money to First Nations than the Canadian government.
Yeah.
That guy was sending money home and living off of $2,000 a week, which whenever you're making, I don't know, $4 million a year, if you're going to live off $2,000 a week and just send money home and be like, give the kids an education, that is the coolest dude ever.
All those dudes, if you meet them in real life, are just the salt of the damn earth. So,
and Tom Wilson, as much as I hate this, this is the one thing about him I can say that I don't hate. So, that's pretty odd in and of itself. But he spends a lot of time in children's hospitals.
Yeah.
Like a lot of time, like a large portion. So
like Sean Avery
yeah, man,
was just a world-class jerk. I mean, but
he was like
working
Make-A-Wish hero.
Yeah. The LGBTQ community, all that stuff that he turned in outside of hockey. He was a decent human being.
Yeah.
So
until now.
What do you think about the TV coverage so far?
So I have conflicting views. I hate anything where I'm close enough to Pittsburgh. I get Pittsburgh. I don't get the MSN. So I have to watch Pittsburgh coverage for the Rangers. I'm not going to hold that against the NHL. I'm just going to hold it against Pittsburgh. And at first I was like, I'm not a fan of how they've staggered the networks to show this and show that.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? If you have cable at all, you're going to have these networks.
You are. The problem is that I have with whether they're doing it is you're used to watching games 1 and 2 on ESPN.
Right.
All of a sudden they're on TNT.
Just get the TV guide app.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a minor inconvenience. I'm hoping that it'll be a positive exposure thing for hockey.
I hope it doesn't.
Be some more people interested. Like.
I hope they don't extend this. I really do hope that they just say, okay, you guys take the one Eastern Conference series.
I think it was a good idea and a poor execution.
Yeah, you get one Eastern Conference series, and one Western Conference series. We'll take the other Eastern Conference series and the other Western Conference series moving forward. But yeah, it's I don't know. Are they broadcasting from a central location? Because it's interesting in that some of the broadcasters that are on one broadcast are next night in a different city, and that's got to be a lot of travel. And keeping up with a series can't be that easy. That much travel, and going from this series with all the things that are going, like the Carolina series, and then maybe having to go take on the Nashville series next. I mean, that seems to me like it would be kind of a pain in the ass and may not be the best thing for hockey to have some kind of continuity with the broadcasters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would have to know more about the situation as far as logistics and stuff go to have an opinion. But, so far, it's the hoops you have to jump through as a hockey fan. You're not going to get CBS football as a hockey fan. Like, it's not going to be Sunday nights or always on Channel 8. It's just we always have to do something extra, and we will continue to always have to do something extra until we take over baseball or something. Which I don't know if it'll ever actually happen.
I mean, you can't take over baseball. Baseball it's an opposite season. We'd have to take out basketball.
Well, I meant as far as like popularity goes.
Yeah.
Because if you're more popular than baseball, you're more popular than basketball.
It's true. All right, man. Got anything for the week?
I think it pretty much does it. I will not be here next week. Tuesday I will be in Georgia. Wednesday I will be in Georgia. Thursday I will be undisclosed location in Central.
Parts unknown.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure yet. It's
okay.
a long story. But I'll be in Georgia, and then I'll come back here. I will be in town on Thursday. I'll be at my store. But I have a good friend coming down from New York before his deployment. He's deploying with the Army for a good bit of time. So we're going to hang out Thursday and then head to Virginia Beach for Friday and Saturday. And then I guess he's probably going to leave Sunday.
Right on. Well, have fun with that. I will carry on in your absence.
Thank you.
the greatest and latest in NHL hockey. Thanks everyone for watching us. I know we had somebody on what is that? Twitch. Yeah. And a couple people on Facebook. So thanks for watching, and we will talk to everyone next week.
We love you.
Or I will talk to everyone next week.
Unless you're Tom Wilson, then we hate you.
I don't hate Tom Wilson.
Yes, you do, Dave.
Okay, maybe I do.
Dave hates Tom Wilson. I hate Tom Wilson. You, the viewer, should also hate Tom Wilson.
There you go. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we will talk to everyone next week.
Later, guys.
Later.